Now, Britain goes to the polls tomorrow with local elections in England, Scotland and Wales, and a series of mayoral contests too. The most high profile is the fight between Ken Livingstone and Boris Johnson in London. But Liverpool and Salford are also choosing mayors for the first time. And 10 towns and cities are holding referendums on whether to follow suit in the future. The results will inevitably be seen as a verdict on the leaders of the three main parties, as our political editor Gary Gibbon reports.
Ed Miliband hopes tomorrow's vote will be a turning point in his fortunes. It looks certain to be the first nationwide vote since the 2005 general election that Labour will have won. The Tories actually pipped them, even at last year's local elections, in terms of share of the vote.
In council elections across Scotland, Wales and England, we'll get an indication of whether Labour's poll lead and the coalition's opinion poll slump is converting into real votes cast. On current opinion poll ratings, Labour should easily gain 700 council seats tomorrow. The Conservatives could be looking at losing 400 councillors. The Lib Dems could easily lose 350 of theirs.
Ed Miliband will need to show more progress than he's done so far in winning seats in the south. And polls suggest he could have two very dark clouds raining on his parade.
In Scotland, it looks as though the SNP march may well not yet have stopped. Labour could lose control of Glasgow Council for the first time since the 1970s. The SNP says it could make serious gains elsewhere at Labour's expense too. And in London, long thought of as a Labour city, the polls suggest that Tory Boris Johnson could beat Labour's Ken Livingstone to the high-profile political prize.
If we can make a small difference to people's lives on living standards, on that local library that's kept open, on the children's centre, then that's so important. And that's what Labour is about, showing that we can be with people in tough times against an out-of-touch government that is doing the wrong things by the country, not just cutting taxes for millionaires, what they've been doing with Rupert Murdoch, a whole range of things which show they're just totally out of touch.
It's a difficult time for families, it's a tough time for families. I just hope that people will look at these elections and recognise it's about electing your local council. Who's going to keep the council tax down? Who's going to provide value for money? Who's going to look after your area? And Conservative councils do a very good job in that regard.
As well as London, there are elections for mayor in Liverpool and Salford, and 11 towns and cities get a vote on whether to move to mayoral elections. The Lib Dems are braced for another painful night of losses. The party has only managed to put up candidates in 70% of seats, many fewer than usual.
Well, this is what happens with political parties, with a sort of ebb and flow of your fortunes. We're concentrating in areas where we feel we're strong, where we're campaigning successfully. That's what happens. Sometimes you field fewer candidates and sometimes more.
Last year, the Liberal Democrats lost 44% of the seats they defended. This year, they're expected to lose at least 50% of seats they hold that are up for re-election, taking them below 3,000 councillors across the country for the first time since the party was formed. And on those trends, losing each year around 50% of the seats they hold that come up for re-election, it's estimated the party could effectively disappear as a major force in local government in 8 years.
The Lib Dems will hope they can point to a national share of the vote better than the gloomiest opinion polls predict. Labour will claim it's on the way back. The Tories will hope a Boris victory will convince their own MPs that the party isn't now locked on a downward trajectory.
The UK Independence Party say they are hoping to benefit from voters' dissatisfaction with mainstream party politics in tomorrow's elections. A spokesman said they're pitching for the apathetic vote.
We're picking up votes from people who haven't voted for a long time or have just got tired of the politicians. They want to get rid of the old three political parties who are just tired and not really helping them, and they're looking for an alternative, and I believe we're that alternative.
And to see how the claims and counterclaims of the mayoral hopefuls stand up to scrutiny, the fact-check team has been hard at work. For their verdict, go to our website, channel4.com/factcheck.